from a mountain stream, uh, which uh, I'm going to use a term here that most people are probably not familiar with, but pure water, perfect water, is multidimensional.
Mm.
You, being alive, have potentially perfect water at one time within you. You cannot be alive if the liquid within you is not structured. So there you go. So human beings have the potential of being multidimensional, being able to travel anywhere that you choose. And we can get into that, maybe not today, because it becomes complicated uh, forward when you're looking to actually do that.
Yeah.
The complications primarily come from people not believing in themselves, much less believing in the concept even being a reality.
Mm.
So it's getting our own mind physiology uh, beyond the limitations that we have chosen.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we may open that door slightly today because I think there's a corollary. I mean, with me and your water, which becomes unlimited once people understand how it is created and shifted back to its form. I mean, I started to take dimensional journeys and seeing through things and seeing the living energy of plants and trees. But you mentioned a word, Clayton, structured. For people that aren't familiar with that, what does that actually mean?
Well, structured is basically making water soft. Structuring changes the viscosity of water. That's the tension of the water uh, to be able to pass through primarily the cell wall. The cells in your body they have no doorways, they have no openings. So the only way that the energy of food gets to your cell is by changing the structure of the liquid within you. And your heart does that. So as your heart pumps your blood around and around and around through your heart, it is actually structuring the liquid within. So, so everything that your blood comes in contact with basically is structured. As you eat food and drink food, your gut basically breaks that food down into energy. That energy is carried on water molecules or the blood itself to every cell in your body. And when it gets to the cell, if it needs any nutrients, it commands the water molecule cluster to open up and come in and through the cell. So structuring basically is reducing the viscosity of the water, the tension on the water, allowing it to pass through the cell wall. Uh, the other aspects of structuring are the energy that's created in in the water as it is opening up into its free space, into what it is truly meant to do. In other words, if you were to open up uh, your DNA would be reset and you'd start being younger. You'd start being everything that your DNA says you are would start coming back into play. So, which it already is. You're entirely different now than you were when I first met you. So,
I
there you
appreciate
go.
that. I appreciate that. I like to say you've played a part in that. I'm always grateful to you. A lot of people may not know your story, but one thing I want to get into that. But you are living a very different reality than a lot of people. You've got a consciousness and a health vitality that some people probably would love to have. Tell me a little bit about kind of how water has helped you in your life currently.
Well, water. Structured water has
Yeah.
saved my life. Uh,
Mm,
Literally. I mean,
okay.
I spent time in war zones, and
Mm,
I uh, I wasn't fast enough. I didn't move fast enough. I ended up in places where it was not in my best interest to be.
mm.
But through all that, you know, I mean, throughout our whole life, we are led to things that we need to embrace or engage in order to get beyond what the meaningfulness is within our physiology. So, whether it be war, or whether it be conflict, or whether it be anger, or whether it be argument, whatever it is, virtually everything that comes to us is there for us to clean it up, clear it up, and get beyond it. Everything. So basically, everything you see and everything that comes at you is a mirror. You are looking into the mirror of yourself. It's not a pleasant thing to view sometimes, but it is our journey to correct those issues that are there. And we have opened some of those doorways up in our previous events to fix them, to eradicate the issues, and to allow our physiology to be in a better place, space, now and forevermore.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And your story, you've shared that things that were not supposed to be in your body started leaving your body when you consumed the structured water and started working with it. Particularly something I think was in your leg or hip. Tell us a little bit about that story, and then why? Why do you think the structured water brought you back into the form that you were originally designed to be?
Well, basically, structured water going into your cells, into your cellular level, uh, opens the cells up to relieve itself of the toxins, or let's say the energy of adversarial conditions that are within the cell.
Okay.
So when you structure water, you're taking water from a city, and that city water might be clusters of water molecules, upwards of 60,000 water molecules in a cluster. Consider this, at your cellular level, your cells can only receive one molecule at a time. So how do you get to that place of 60,000 down to one? So structured water, again, structuring water through my technology reduces the water molecule cluster down to six. It's called hexagonal water. I don't say it very often because the guy who owns the patent comes back at me
Okay.
with that statement. Okay. Anyway, it
We'll
is
call. I would calling it molecular. Well, no, I mean, yeah, molecular water.
it is
Yeah.
molecular water. It is changing the water molecules
Yes.
in order for the clusters to create. And the cluster in a perfect water molecule cluster is six water molecules in a cluster. When that six water molecule cluster comes to a cell, the cell needing vitamin A or an element, all it does is it commands the cluster to open up, and the cluster drops into a chain or a train, and the water molecule enters into the aquaporin channel, and its cargo, a structured water molecule, has the cargo capacity of 440,000 frequencies. Those frequencies are in the form of ions. So the water goes in the aquaporin channel, the ions go in the ion channel. As the water passes through the cell, it comes to the other side, it picks up the unused cargo, and it picks up the garbage from the cell. That garbage normally is heavy metals, it's things, and it all kinds of things, but those things are in an energy form. I'm going to remind you again, everything you eat and everything you drink goes out your elimination system. It's energy that feeds you, purely energy. And this whole world is based on physical chemistry. When we talk about chemistry, we're talking about the physical world. Your whole existence is energy. Yes, you appear, people see you, you can see yourself in a mirror, you are physical. But internally, all your systems are energy. They're based on energy and they rely on energy. And when we get engaged in things that are not good for us, which is the physical, that's why you'll find a significant number of people around the world who are breatharians. They don't they don't engage in physical food. They get their food from the perfect divine order. And however, uh, at my age, I could be a breatharian, but it would not be in my best interest because I have engaged in eating food. So again, your cells have no openings. All they receive is energy, and they deliver energy and they pick up the adversarial energy. So what we all need to do is we need to eliminate the adversarial. The primary adversarial depository of adversarial energy is your brain. Needs to be cleared. The SAVE technology can do that if you know what the adversarial condition is. And if you don't, then the savior is oxygen. Structured water, drinking and bathing in structured water increases your oxygen level by 25%. What it does is it frees the water from your city water, it frees it up, and that oxygen that's released from neutralizing the memory of the water. Memory takes oxygen. So everything that water has passed through or passed by since it came out of nature, it remembers.
Yeah,
The
we've
only
talked
way,
about that, right? The prescription drugs that people consume,
yes,
then they, use the facilities and that gets flushed down the toilet into the water supply. They can filter out the bigger elements of that, right? But the energy can stay in the water. The emotions, the thoughts, all of the things that are in the pipes, whether they're contaminants, toxins, molds, whatever, the frequency can stay in the water. So there is no clearing of the water per se that the municipalities do, or even water bottling companies do, right? So if we
exactly.
understand energy, we've got to look at that and say, what are we drinking? What is the energy, the thoughts, the vibrations, the feelings? Is what water has passed through in its lifetime, is that delivering an energy to us that we are now taking on? And I think that's where I started seeing things differently once I drank your water, because I started getting like the pure essence of water. Explain a little bit more about that, but I got to make one comment. What I was curious about, I know you told me, and maybe it was a private story, I don't want to get into trouble here, but you had scrap metal in your body, I believe you told me once. Hopefully that's okay to share on a call.
Yes.
And it started to leave your body. So that's what I was also wondering about too. Um, tell us about that.
Yeah, the shrapnel came from being in more than one explosion.
Ooh,
basically in wartime, uh,
Yeah.
when a missile comes in and blows up a power unit or blows up an airplane, it creates significant shrapnel. And the larger shrapnel you can see, you know, and in the medical world, they try to remove as much as they can, the particles, the strands of stainless steel. Uh, and a lot of times, depending upon, they enter into the area of your body that's exposed to the explosion. You know, the majority of people in explosions don't live.
Yeah.
But uh, if you happen to be partially away from the explosion, then it's the parts of your body that are exposed that get shrapnel. I had shrapnel coming out of me this last year,
Mm.
and that shrapnel has been in my body for 57, 58 years. That's when I was engaged a hostile in a hostile environment. And the reason that it comes out is because it's foreign
Yes.
and it does not belong. So your whole physiology when you're engaged in structured water is all about correcting your physiology. It's pushing everything out of your body that does not conform to being part of you, that does not conform to be within your cellular makeup. So it pushes it out and if it's close to the skin, it pushes it out through your skin. I mean, my workmate here, Leslie, and I used to work in the yard, and we were trimming trees and cactus, and we get caught up in cactus thorns. She can tell you her body this year with this new technology
Mm.
has pushed all of the thorns from our body. And they come out and when they come out, you or start come out, you start picking at it, you know. And she come up with a solution to cut them off so they no longer something that you can pick at.
Yes.
But eventually, I mean, we have probably both of us now totally eliminated for me shrapnel, for her uh, uh, the thorns of cactus, and it's automatic. Again, your body knows what belongs and what doesn't. God knows. And when
I
you're
Yep.
engaged in structured water, every direction, whether it's bathing in it, breathing structured air, all these things contribute to your physiology being in divine order and divine timing. Perfect.
Yes, I'm not a scientist nor a structured water expert, but I get the sense that you've kind of explained to me how some of the energetics leave water when it is structured. And I get the sense that the same things perhaps that could be in the body that are not holistic, not natural to the body may also move out of alignment with the body when we're really in that structured environment, in that very holistic, balanced state. Things not in resonance just don't match anymore. And how the body handles that, I'm the first one to say I learn every day that the body can do miraculous things that we have yet to fully understand. But it sounds like that's exactly what's happening.
Right.
And Clayton, for people wondering, I mean, you are more vibrant now than I ever remember, and you've been doing this for a while. How has this affected your well-being, your energy, your holistic health in your own life,
Well,
the structuring?
it's first off saved my life, and I am now honing in on the more delicate aspects of what need to be fixed. But I want to really go back.
Yeah,
into
please.
a into a an understanding that you all must have. Your water is being processed by cities. The city management for the health of water are chemists. They are their whole world, their whole education has to do with physical science. They have no concept of energy. And when you present them with this magical device that can change your world, change your health, and potentially aid you to live for an inordinately longer life, they don't want to hear it because it's not their education. It's not their knowing. And they're going to see all these devices as hoaxes, impossible. And I want you to know this is an impossible, from science's point of view, an impossible technology. Even though, in truth, it exists all around us, and it exists from rain. Rain is structured. The however about rain is rain now has to come down through the 1 or 2 tons of carbon that are hanging over your head.
Oh, yeah.
Acid. And that acid is being dropped into every water resource that we have, killing us, killing the resource, ending us. So it's time for us to get on the other side to really uh, not only engage in water and health for ourselves, our families, our communities. So that was the one thing I wanted you to realize is that when you think the water that is coming from your tap, it
Mm,
doesn't have dirt in it, sand in it. It's clean,
clean. Yeah. It's
but
not.
it's not pure. That water contains all the energy
Yeah.
of everything that it has passed through and everything that it's passed by since it came out of nature, which is some pretty ugly things.
Yeah. Yeah. And, maybe the hate, maybe the fear, maybe the emotional imbalances. And you say it's an impossible technology for maybe the Newtonian mind to understand, but I believe nature has its own wisdom, and I want to go to this picture of one of your clients, La Fawn in France.
Right.
I mean, nature is very clear when something is in alignment with nature and it's natural. uh these actually literally not only are bigger, but you've shared that these tomatoes and other fruits and vegetables that are able to receive the molecular structuring of the water not only are bigger, but they have more nutritional value. Explain that, because to me that really sets forth the argument that nature is telling you this is what is in divine order. What happened here with these tomatoes?
Yes. And not only I believe that farm also went through a freeze, and their tomatoes didn't freeze, but the neighbors did. So,
Wow.
I mean, that's just another subject of this.
Yeah.
But how that happens, it's identically the same thing that happens for us. If we are eating food that has been grown structurally or grown with structured water, the the results are the same for us as it is for those tomatoes. And that is structured water structured water can hold, it holds on to everything that's good for life, and it neutralizes and eliminates everything that's bad for life. So the nutrients that are essential for that tomato to grow and to be vibrant with energy
Mm,
is in the water.
yeah.
So as the water comes to the plant, That plant takes everything it needs. It takes the amount of water it needs, and it takes about the water, the amount of energy it needs, and all those energies incorporated in that tomato bring that tomato to life. And if you want to see the measurement levels, the measurement of the life force energy of that tomato is done by a refractometer. It's a device that you can buy on you can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably the cheapest one is $25. And it's a device that's non-electronic. It's just a lens that you look through, and you get some liquid from the tomato or the tomato leaves or some aspect or whatever you're looking at, and you get a garlic press, and you put some of the physical in the garlic press, press it, and you allow a drop or two to go on to a lens, which is part of the refractometer. And you close the lens and you look through this glass, and on the other end of it, it reflects the food value. Now, tomatoes that, I mean, today, there's a significant amount of food that's growing. Uh, it's growing from seed that is uh, I don't want to say the name of the company that creates GMO, genetically modified seed, genetically modified food.
Yes. Yes.
Genetically modified can make a tomato look like a tomato, the
Mm.
shape of a tomato, the color of the tomato, and and disease free, no disease in the tomato, growing the tomato. But the food value, that's one thing they haven't figured out yet, or maybe they are working on it. I'm sure they are. But the food value
I'm
of
not sure I want them working on it, Clayton. I think they're perverting it,
the
especially with
food
some of these
value
companies. Yeah.
of even tomatoes the size that you showed the pictures of could be the food value could be four and a
Yeah.
half.
Right. Right. Just
And
fluff.
that term of food value is is I was trying to think. The word is what is it? Um, Food value is
Is it the ORAC value
yeah. ORAC is an
measurement?
older version. This is bricks,
Mm.
RIX. If you Google bricks, it'll come up with of it'll come up with charts telling you what the minimum, the average, the normal, and the excellent bricks. Excellent for tomato would probably be 18.
Yes. 18.
And
Okay.
anything under 10 is insufficient food value to support life.
We're
So
only getting 18. Doesn't seem that much higher. I mean, which might be a reason people don't feel so good generally in certain
if you're
industrialized
eating
countries.
GMO food from the grocery store, you're not getting any food value. You might be getting uh, uh, the stuff that keeps your engine moving,
Mm.
not sufficient food to deliver your ability to play basketball or run a mile.
Yes.
So we need to find food that has food value. I can go into a grocery store and and I can scarcely find I can't find five things in the uh of the uh, fruits and vegetables that are that have food value or sufficient food value to support life. If you purchase an apple and you put it on the refractometer, I mean, it's really, really sad because those apples in the store are picked 15 days prior to them ripening by the sun.
Uh,
No food value.
right. They're
The
not
sun
done.
is what
Yeah.
provides the food value.
Yeah.
And they pick them early, green, so that they don't rot before they get to the store and put on the store shelf. They flash those apples with a gas in order to make them red. And the gas is, I believe, arsenic. It's a it's a gas. It's not good for you, but it's a gas, and it makes fruit red. It makes oranges orange. It brings out the color.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it takes away our color. We just become brown and dead.
It,
No,
it,
I don't know that, but it can't
it's
be good.
complicated. You know, it
It's
is
complicated. Yeah. One thing you mentioned, which just reminds me of, is a lot of people say, well, why is it that the water isn't just structured that comes out of the tap? Why isn't that water in that natural form? What is different between tap water and, let's say, the water we may have gotten from living next to a stream, right? 500 years ago and using that water. What is the difference there? Is there a natural cycle that the earth generally was once using and that humans were able to receive water from that made sure we got what we needed? And how has that changed?
well, water from a stream, if it's a mountain stream, the
Yeah.
water is circling back and forth. It's coming against rocks. And
Mm,
when the water comes against the rocks, when the water comes against the right side of the rock, it causes the water to spin to the left. When water
okay.
comes against the left side of the rock, it causes the water to spin to the right.
Okay.
Vortex,
Uh,
life,
life.
the vortex, and it's the vortex technology that creates structuring. So it causes the water to structure. It causes the water to be softer. It causes the water to have a food value, but it causes the water through structuring causes the water to create a biophoton field effect.
Okay.
Uh,
Write that down.
my original
Biophoton.
technology, the biophoton field effect was represented in a strawberry field in California, and the biophoton field effect of a commercial unit or even a house unit was 1,000 feet. So there's video of what happens to strawberries with that 1,000 foot biophoton field. The reality of structuring is you could take one strawberry, one plant, you
Okay.
could take a blade of grass, anything,
Yeah.
put it up in a pot, water it with structured water, one pot in the middle of a field. And the
Mm.
energy from that plant will reach out and touch the energy or reinforce the energy of every plant within 1,000 feet. And those plants didn't need water. They didn't need food.
And that's that biophoton field.
Yeah,
Interesting.
right.
Okay. I want to get to a comment from David C., who says, one, you can spray Clayton structured water as an ultraviolet light after 7 days, and it will change the angle back to the original angle. Spray anything, not just water, and that thing will be changed forever. Spray your favorite wine, and it will change the sulfites to sulfates, and make that wine taste like a 10-year-old wine and no hangover. Interesting. So Lots of people. David writes in, says been with Clayton for 20 years. Some definite magic here. Tell me more about that biophoton field and what that means. I mean, you've seen this in your environment, in your home, and some of the things you've done. Explain a little more about that.
Well, the biophoton field back in the day with my previous company,
Yeah.
uh, the portable generated a field effect of about 50 feet. But
Okay.
again, the industrial unit, which we used on that field in California, and by the way,
Yes.
that field in California still has those units in internal in that field. Nobody talks about it because nobody has the answers.
They don't want to be on the hook
And
to talk
nobody
about
knows who to call.
it. No.
If, it's the same thing that if you get a structured water unit and you don't have the answers, and somebody says, man, you're looking younger, you're looking more healthy. How is that so? Well, you're going to talk about things other than structured water because you really don't have the answer, right?
That's right. That's right. That's
So
right.
I'm offering to you all the answer.
Mm,
Ask me the question,
mm,
which my friend Darius has learned to do.
yeah.
We don't always get to the exact answer, but I think we get to an answer that the majority of you can grasp.
Yeah.
And, this is what we're here to do. This is what I'm here to do. I'm going to be here for an inordinately longer time than most. And I am going to answer the questions forever. Okay?
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun journey. Let me know your questions. If you've got a question for Clayton Nolte, go ahead and raise your hand, hit reactions. When we talk about this water, it seems like one of the things that you've also talked about is the fact that we are absorbing water when we bathe. We're absorbing huge amounts of water that we don't realize. And yet we want to be aware of what we're absorbing. We want to be aware of what we're bringing in. Talk to me a little bit about bathing and structured water and showering, what you've seen there, and anything else that comes into that discussion as well, Clayton.
Yes. First off, if you're bathing in regular water, the water cannot penetrate your cells, so it runs off. All you're doing is washing the surface. Your body is not receiving any hydration.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
cannot, well, it can, depending upon the intensity of your internal system. If your internal system is highly charged, the potential of actually receiving some of that water through your skin is potentially there. The however is, the however is, if that water contains heavy metals,
mm,
you don't want it to be entering into your cellular level,
right.
especially at your skin level, because it's your heart that's structuring the water. It's the blood that's structuring all the cells in your body, keeping them alive, awake, alert, enthusiastic. That point alone is what drives your immune system, your ability to ward off the things that don't serve you. When you drink and bathe in structured water, hydration is instantaneous. If you have a sunburn and you take a shower with structured water, the burn goes away because it's hydrating the skin. If you have a spray bottle with structured water and you spray that area 3 or 4 times, you spray that area, the hydration is back in your skin and the burn is gone. That's the same way if you burn your finger on a hot iron or on a fire or on a flame, and you can spray it with structured water, rinse in structured water, and the burn goes away to the degree that it never swells up, it never blisters. This is true with every incident, every cut, every aspect of your physiology that gets in harm's way. You can correct it with structured water. And the beautiful thing about structured water is it relieves pain.
Hmm.
And I have given a video, people may have a chance to look at it, but it's about an avenue of relieving pain, and it's through color. But structured water does the same thing. It removes pain. And when pain is gone, when there's no pain, there's no swelling. And when there's no swelling, healing can happen. In fact, healing can occur instantaneously if there's no pain. But when there's pain, it's held, the aspect of repair is held off. And I want to remind you, again, when you're engaged in any aspect
Hmm.
of bringing your physical body back into a healthier state, you must be hydrated. It's hydration that allows your cellular structure to receive the energy of repair and utilize it.
How would someone use structured water on their body? Let's say there is an area that's discomfort, right? Would it be consuming the water, bathing in the water, spraying the area with the water? How would you proceed? What would be a potential framework for doing that?
Well, just do it
Just do it. That's all right.
wherever it is.
Yeah.
You know, some of the I do run into this occasionally when people have issues,
Mm.
you know, and they're faced with the potential of fixing them. It's difficult for their mind to conceive that this will fix it because I don't know enough